Don't you wanna be free when you're standing on the edge of time? One word's all I need to relieve you of your rising greed. Don't you wanna be free when your life's turning upside down? Let me show you the way to go when all direction is lost. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side, to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I've said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend. Don't you wanna be free to forget where your life should be? For once, stand up for what's right and be true to the ones you need. Don't you wanna be free and to never be afraid again? This time I will not let you go. I'll be your shelter from harm. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side, to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I've said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend. Don't you wanna be free when you're standing on the edge of time? One word's all I need to relieve you of your rising greed. Don't you wanna be free when your life's turning
Hey everyone. Happy Sunday. Say hello in the chat if you haven't done so. Hi Catherine. Hi Scott. Hopefully everybody had a good week, a good Christmas. We actually we had a very good Christmas. My granddaughter was sick the day before, so that was a little bit unsettling, but she rallied and she came around for Christmas Day. So it was good. And I probably shouldn't share this, but I will. We're the type of people that the day after Christmas, we start like taking everything down because it's been very Christmassy in our house since before Thanksgiving. So, and with my son's birthday, we always celebrated his birthday on New Year's Eve. We just sort of always transitioned after Christmas. So I'm not sure if anybody else, if you keep it up until I think January 6th, I know my in laws used to do that for the whole Christmas season. So, oh, we got a good crowd. Hi, Sonny. That's exciting to see you here. Who else? Hi, Grizzly. Oh, a lot of new names in the chat. So, before I get started, I'm going to start with a monologue tonight, not very long, and then we'll get into the questions and comments, and then I will close it out the way I always do with the reading from the book Thoughttuary. But before I even start, I need to give a shout out to Escaping the Suburbs, Scott, because he has spent a lot of time with me this last week in helping me, I guess, organize Ecamm and helping me how to use it and whatnot. So definitely, if this goes off without a hitch and everything looks great, Scott gets all the credit. So thank you, Scott. Hi, CL. Okay, so let me just start with the monologue, and I do have notes here, so I apologize if I'm reading from time to time. But I think before we start 2026, we typically, or I guess traditionally, we always set resolutions, right? What's your New Year's resolutions? And everybody always has, they always start off great, and usually by February, they've been forgotten or certainly diminished, if you would. So this year I wanted to try something new, and I actually took a master class just recently with Kathy Heller. I'm not sure anybody knows who she is, but she's been one of my mentors for the last few years now, and she basically helps people find their purpose and whatnot. So she recently had a masterclass on setting like New Year's resolutions, New Year's intentions. And there is a difference between setting an intention and setting a New Year's resolution. And she had said something during this masterclass that, I don't know, it really hit home for me and I thought was really powerful, is that we write down these New Year's resolutions and we keep trying to do things or achieve things in our life without ever changing the way we think about ourselves. And, for example, if maybe you want to exercise or lose 10 pounds, but deep down inside you just keep thinking, well, I'm not very athletic, or, I'm just too busy for that, then certainly fail's not the right word, but you just won't be able to follow through because you haven't changed who you are. You haven't changed, I guess the internal part of you, which I always call your soul. But so I think that's one of the first things. So tonight, instead of making like a huge list of goals, which there is a time and place for goals, so we will do that, I broke it down into 3 simple things that I want to start with. So the first one is, and I'm sure people have heard of this, is sometimes people will pick a word for the year. So I want you to pick a word, and not a word like for your vision board or anything, but a word that reminds you of your intention and what you're trying to accomplish this year. So, as an example, for me, my word for 2026 is going to be audacity. I went back and forth with a couple, but I landed on audacity. So that's going to be my word. But maybe for you, it's going to be, it could be calm, right? To remind yourself to slow down and not always rushing on to the next thing, especially when life gets busy. Or maybe it's brave or courageous, and to remind you, that you can do hard things. So whatever it is, or just even being maybe present. So it doesn't have to be, just think of something that you want to accomplish this year and pick a word that will help you to remind you, especially when life has a way of taking over. So, and one of the things she had talked about, I've also heard this before, but one of the things that she had talked about in this masterclass is the word should be used like a compass, right? When you set an intention, it's kind of like setting a compass. The goals are how you get there, but you can have a whole bunch of goals and you can reach all those goals, but you might get to your destination and still not, I don't know, just still not feel like you accomplished what you needed to accomplish, if that makes any sense. You really need to set an intention. It needs to come from the inside out. The goals are like the external way of getting there, and intention is the internal way of getting there. So that's the first thing, is to pick a word for 2026. And then the second thing is, and I've talked about this before in several videos, is we need to protect our mornings, right? And I think she called it emotional priming. But simply, you got to protect your mornings, because those first 5 to 10 minutes of your morning really sets the tone for the rest of your day. And there's actually, scientific evidence around this. And I've talked before about how you can literally choose how you want to feel that day. You can go, just like you go to your closet to pick out an outfit for the day, depending on, what you're feeling like, what you want to wear. You can also do that with your feelings. You really can. So instead of picking up your phone, take 5 minutes, say a prayer, journal, just sit in silence with your cup of coffee, or go outside for 5 minutes, especially for all you folks who are in a warmer climate than up here in New England. The other morning we wouldn't have wanted to go outside. It was like 10 below, or it felt like 10 below. But just go outside, listen to the birds, just do something that will set yourself for the balance of the day. Try not to listen to the news, try not to pick up your phone or read emails or anything like that. And then lastly, ask yourself, and try and be as honest as you can. And nobody needs to know this, but just ask yourself one question. What is one thing that you can let go of in 2026 that is not serving you anymore? Maybe it did at one time, but it doesn't anymore. Maybe it's saying yes when you don't always mean yes. Maybe it's, just like I talked about no scrolling in the morning time. Maybe it's no scrolling before bedtime. That is a big one for me. I've got to stop doing that. But that's sort of when I watch all my favorite people on YouTube. So I don't know if that counts, but I spend a lot of time online right before bed. But pick one thing that's no longer serving you, right? And you don't have to fix everything, just one thing. So that's it. So just those 3 things, right? So pick a word, claim your mornings, so that you can set the tone for the balance of your day. And then name one thing that just no longer serves you. And, something that you're ready to leave behind in 2025. Maybe it's, not always being so fearful or something. Think of one thing. And, I guess just to close and wrap up this piece is, I guess after being here for nearly 60 years, I've had a whole lot of life, and change doesn't come from doing more. That is something I've learned. It really comes from getting quiet enough to hear what's important to you. And, when you change who you think you are, life sort of reorganizes itself around you. So you need to start seeing yourself differently. And, I'm not talking about becoming somebody different, and I'm not talking about being inauthentic. I'm just talking about remembering who you are and remembering who you are before, life got really loud. And I guess, I think I like to say, come home to yourself. And if you can come home to yourself and reconnect with yourself, you'll be able to see yourself and see who you really are, and not who the world wants you to be or who your job wants you to be. So just reconnect with that inner part of yourself. And, as we stand at the door or the threshold of 2026, the question is simple, right? Are you willing to try something different? Not try harder and not to make things more complicated, but just try something different this year. And are you willing to pick up, one word that will help you to remind you, and to claim your morning, right? And let go of one thing that's not serving you. Because I guess that's how real change happens. It's one step at a time. It's just the right next step each time, not giant steps. Just in small daily bite-sized pieces, small daily choices to remember what matters. So that's it. Okay. So thank you for bearing with me for my monologue. And I'm just going to go through, lots of, okay. The music, Be Free by Sarah Payton. It's one of my absolute favorite songs. So I love that song. Hi, Sunny. From Paris? Oh, Paris, Texas. All right. I don't know when you joined, Sunny, but thank you for liking the countdown and the music. But the kudos really goes to your son. He helped me set up Ecamm, so I look a little bit more professional, like I know what I'm doing this week. But I'll get there. But no, he helped me align everything. So again, a shout out to Scott. Grizzly, welcome. I love having you here. Thank you. Kat, I had the most wonderful, peaceful, and relaxing Christmas. I hope everybody did. I really hope everybody did. We really did. Again, I was a little nervous with my granddaughter being sick on Christmas Eve day, but like a 1-year-old typically does, she rallied pretty quickly. So, I used to keep it up until January 6th, but I've started taking it down. So, Catherine, is it already down? Do you already have it down? I get a lot of flack for taking it down the day after. And again, the other thing that we typically do is we go into the city, usually for New Year's. So we go in usually for 3 nights. This year we're not doing that because our daughter, who watches our dogs for us, is going skiing with her friends and stuff. So we'll be coming home New Year's Eve day or morning. but we typically go into the city. So there's just like a lot of moving parts, and which is one of the reasons. And then we come home and we typically would have my son's birthday. And so there was always a lot of moving parts right after Christmas. So that's why we always got in the habit of taking it down so early. I've stuck to my resolution for more than 25 years because the last one I made was to never make one again. Now I set intentions about how I want to live my life. All right, see, I love that, Catherine. I'm with you. The resolutions, I think it's been proven, or the story goes, that usually it's by January 17th. It's usually the second Friday. I don't know why that is, but it's usually the second Friday of January that most people have given up on their resolutions. So I'm with you. Why set them just to feel bad about it later? And the last few years, I have been setting intentions. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but yes, each year I try. I guess I try and get a bit closer to who I believe I am, the more authentic part of me. And I just heard this great analogy, and I think there's a lot of truth behind it. We always hear about how there's all these anti-aging things right out there, whether it's for your hair, your skin, whatnot. Just anti-aging is a big business. And one of the things that I've recently heard is the more authentic you can be of who you really are, that is the best anti-aging you could ever do. Being true to yourself, it just makes the cells in your body come alive, and not pretending to be somebody you're not. And that sounds kind of harsh, because I don't think anybody ever intends to be inauthentic. I really don't. And I speak from experience. I think when you're I guess for myself, when I was in corporate America for almost 30 years, I took on this persona, this image, this person. And when I was laid off in 23, I all of a sudden had to realize who I was, because I lost my identity a little bit. I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but it's just that's what I went through. So anyways, I just thought that was really, there's some truth behind it, just being authentic to yourself. And that's the best anti-aging that you can do for yourself, your body. So where am I? Yes, way to go, Scott. Agreed. He is, and I think a lot of us in the chat online tonight, we're all looking at maybe our YouTube channels and possibly just taking them in a different direction. And I was on Rob the Maritimer's holiday special, if you would, last week. And he had asked that question. He had asked everybody if they were taking their channel in a different direction. And I think I said I wasn't, that I was just, I was just starting to get traction. And I'm not really taking it in a different direction, but I guess I'm not taking it in a different direction, but I do want to somehow be able to help more people with it. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean a business yet. To me right now, it's just about being able to help somebody else. And, I've always been a firm believer forever that, the more people you can help in life, everything else sort of takes care of itself. And I have sort of lived by that motto. And I've never struggled too much, whether it's financially or just anything. So I think the business end of it will take care of itself. But where was I going with that thought? Just that, I think a few of us on here are trying to look at different ways to possibly grow our channel and, a crossroads between helping somebody and maybe also making money with it. And I just, I threw out to Scott the other day, I'm like, Scott, you probably take this as, second nature to you, that all this tech know-how that you have, a lot of people don't have it, especially 40 and above don't have it. I mean, some probably do, but when I look at my kids who are, they range from like 40 down to 21, they can look at this stuff and it's just very intuitive to them. My daughter can put together a video for Instagram or TikTok really easily. So, and she does it really, really well. But so I was just telling Scott, don't, that might just be something to look at as far as all his tech experience and his know-how. So more Sid in 2026, Catherine. The longer version coming out this week. Is that a video, Grizzly? Sid versus Catherine. Okay, so I don't know who Sid is, so somebody's gotta pull me in here. So he's up for it. I've got a short of him messing up the spare room bed cushion. So somebody needs to help me. Is it? I didn't finish reading that. Sorry. Keeps getting covered. All right. Is it a cat? Is it a dog? Hopefully it's not a person, or maybe it is. I picked up a word this morning without even knowing I was doing it. What is it, CL? Please share if you want to share, but I'd love to know. I don't scroll before bed. I play a puzzle game to relax, and then evening is off. Everything is off. That's good. And, I think I've shared throughout different videos that I used to watch the news a lot. And I used to think if I just watched, a different podcaster or a different channel or what, I would hear something that I wanted to hear. And it definitely would do a number on my nervous system, literally. So I would say the last, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, it's been a while. I don't watch the news. I actually allow myself to watch about an hour a day, but even then, I don't watch any mainstream media news. There's just really no reason to. But I pick and choose if there's something that I need to know about or I've heard something and I want to, investigate it further, then I go looking for the information. But a dramatic difference in how I feel. It really is a dramatic difference. It's amazing because let's be real, right? All the news, it doesn't matter what station or what country, everything just leaves you living in fear, right? To some degree, it's just which level of fear. And it is amazing what fear does to your body. So when you remove it, you actually start feeling pretty good. And I think that's the other thing is, I don't know if anybody's ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score. If you haven't, I highly, highly recommend reading that book because it really talks about how, just how stress and, dis-ease in our body causes the disease, we have in our body. We really have more control over the healthiness of our body than I think others would like us to believe. But if you can, grab the book. It's definitely worth a read. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for joining. Hi, Laura. I was here just before we started the countdown. So you heard me give your son a shout out then. So, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. It's good to see you in my chat. It's half down. It's actually sitting on the floor right now. I'll finish it up after this. I don't have a lot, so it'll only take 10 minutes. Lori, would you repeat the artist and name of the countdown song? Yeah, it was Be Free. So Be Free by Sarah Payton, Peyton. Actually, I can drop it in the chat. Let me know if you need me to. I've put that song in a couple of my videos at the end, and every time I do, somebody is always leaving a comment. Who is it? You know, what's the name of the song? So, yeah, everybody seems to love that song. So at the last minute, Scott, you'd be proud. At the last minute, I had a different song originally in the scene, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to use this other song, so I figured it out. So proud moment. You should feel good. You're a good teacher. I do a review at the end of each year and have been doing it for more than a decade. What did I achieve personally and professionally, and how did I grow in both? And who do I want to be next year? Oh, Catherine, see, that's great. That's exactly what we all should be doing. That is spot on. And because, you know, again, life has a way of taking over. And even when you set the best intentions, it's easy. It's easy to go down a rabbit hole. It's easy to get lost. And, you know, it's really easy to get discouraged. And one of the things, the only thing I would add to what you do, Catherine, is I try and identify, you know, I say 3, it could be 1, but just one thing that you're really grateful for that year. And I started doing that after 2020. And, you know, nobody needs to be reminded of what 2020 was. And it was pretty bad up here in the New England area, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine. We were locked down hard. And I know I have a lot of Florida viewers, and my daughter lives down there, and I know you folks didn't get locked down. So anyways, long story is that I started that year trying to identify what I was grateful for in 2020, because believe it or not, there were some things that were good. I would not ever want to repeat it, but there were some good things that came out of it. So, and ever since then, at the end of every year, I try and identify 3 things that I felt were really good this year. Sid is my dog. Okay. Because as I said, is it a cat? Is it a dog? I'm like, gee, I hope it's not a kid or, you know, somebody. So, oh, look at you, Catherine. Q. I'm not as good as Rob, so you don't have to do that. But thank you. Are you a coach? No, I'm not a coach. Not an official coach, but I will say I have a lot of friends that come to me for advice and just how to get through life sometimes. So good work switching the song. Yeah, you should be proud. You're a good teacher, Scott. Oh, you're welcome, Sonny. Sorry. Did I say Sarah Payton? Yeah, totally wrong, Sylvia. You're right. Actually, I think Sarah Payton, I think she used to be a politician out of Alaska, and I have no idea why I said Sarah, but you are right. I do a gratitude practice often, but that's a great thing to do at the end of the year. Yeah, you know, it's a good thing that you have that practice. And I wish I could say I do it every day. I don't do it every day, but I do have a journal, and I probably have it around here somewhere, where I try and identify things that I'm grateful for. And some days, well, not lately, but there were some days that it was hard to come up with things, especially there was a season of our lives that was a struggle for a couple of years. And, but I would still come, it could be something as simple as, my nice warm slippers, or it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be, your cup of coffee in the morning. I am so grateful for that coffee in the morning. So that's, I think that's probably one of my worst vices is the coffee. So I literally can't start my day without a cup of coffee. That sounds bad. I remember my grandmother used to say that, and I never understood it ever. So I guess the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. So. Hi, Mike. So happy you could make it. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer there. I watched your live the other day. Well, I watched it the other day. I don't actually know when it was. You were putting your diesel heater together. And so hopefully that has been serving you well. And you were making your Chex Mix or trail mix. So which looked yummy. So, and hopefully work is slowing down for you a little bit. I know you said you were working through the holidays, but maybe sometime after that you'd be able to get off. So, oh my goodness, no, don't ever apologize for being late. The kids thought they needed food. Yeah, the nerve of them, right? That's funny. You'd be a great, so you got certified. So how, well, I'll ask you offline, but I'd be interested in knowing how you got certified, Catherine. So, but I'll reach out to you offline. Not to steal Lori's thunder. I have no thunder, Daniel, so please steal it. But I'm going live tomorrow night, going through my fish and tackle backpack and organizing it and showing off lures, getting ready for the spring. Oh, really? I love that. Basically pulling a sea. All right, so what's tomorrow? Monday night, 6:00. Well, I'm going to try and make it, Daniel. I will be in the city, but I can probably make it from my phone. So I'll be there. I was going to use my Scott-approved Shazam app, but it ended too quickly for Shazam to grab it. I don't know what a Shazam app is, but I'm assuming it has something to do with music. Can I tell you the name and artist of a song? See, just something else Scott knows. I'm telling you. We need to somehow package him. I need my coffee. Thank you, CL, for making me feel not so alone. Yes, I need my coffee in the morning. Per Detective Pikachu, these are life choices. Okay, I don't know who Detective Pikachu is. I know who Pikachu is. So I need to get caught up. We're in a blizzard, -1, and I believe there's 5 inches of snow. It's hard to tell with the snow drifts. Are you home? Please tell me you're not in your camper. It's Sunday, so maybe you're at home and you're not at your work, at your job site. Please be safe wherever you are. Please be safe. That is crazy. Especially, I think you told me it was like a 2-hour drive one way. So hopefully the weather's going to pass before you have to head back that way. The RV toilet project. I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of that project. I've heard of the diesel heater project. So, but yes, a toilet would be needed. So especially when it's -1 outside, that way you don't have to run across a parking lot to go find a bathroom somewhere. The youngest one is 20 years old, but when they're at dad's house, they can't cook anymore. Well, isn't that the truth? And I'll tell you, Mike, that never changes. Okay, my son is 30, and um, he still thinks me making him pasta tastes so much better than if he makes pasta for himself at home. It doesn't have to be anything special. But what I will say is, growing up, as the kids were growing up, my son counted on his sisters to feed him. Now he's older than the two younger girls, but they would literally have to cook him food, and otherwise he would starve. But now he's 30 and he has a family, and he does all the cooking, and he loves it. He loves it. And not just on the grill. He cooks on the grill, but he's always trying new recipes. And so I don't know if your kids like to cook or if it's just a necessity for them. But again, my son loves it. So there's still hope. And for anybody who has boys, I was just talking to my older daughter about this, because I have a grandson who is, well, actually, he just turned 26. And we were just talking about all the strides he's made and whatnot. And somebody told me, and I don't know who, but decades ago, they told me that when your son turns 25, for boys, there's like a huge shift. Yeah, I've heard that the brain doesn't fully develop in boys until they're like 25, but there'll be a huge shift. So I don't know, Mike, you say he's 20. I don't know if you have an older son or not, but totally different when they turn 25. Totally different person. So, and for the better. My son was always a good kid, so I'm not trying to say he wasn't, but just, the responsibility and the accountability and just the motivation, huge shift. It was just a huge shift when he turned 25. So I can't wait to see that, Daniel. The fishing tackle box expose. I am afraid the RV toilet is going to still haunt me from now. Okay. Did you do a video about that, Mike? I haven't seen that one if you have. Yep, that is Shazam. So it's a music identifier app or something. Scott is the wise owl of the palm trees. He is, and I'll watch one of Scott's videos, and it's typically after I've finished a video of some sort, and I'm always trying to be, I don't know, just try and be professional, or I don't know, that's not the right word, and then Scott literally has almost the same message that I just had in my video, and he says it just so simply and so understandably, and I'm like, Scott, I just put something together like this, but I love the way you communicated this. So yes, he is a wise owl. I agree. I need my coffee. Also, summertime, I'll switch to iced coffee. I like iced coffee, but I got to be the one making it at home. I can't buy it outside because it's just watered down. Yucko. So if you're making it at home, yes, I agree. Iced coffee is quite yummy. An International Coaching Federation qualification through a local supplier here in New Zealand. They do online courses, and there are many others globally. Never heard of that. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Catherine, what time is it in New Zealand right now? Why did I think you were like a 12-hour difference? Are you a 12-hour difference? So is it 7:30 in the morning there? Yes, I am home, thank goodness. Yes, thank goodness. It seems like every time we talk, though, Mike, you're having some type of weather, so you must get a lot of weather. Are you near the Great Lakes at all? I don't remember where you said you were. So you seem to get a lot of snow. Yeah, actually, thanks for bringing that up, Daniel. What I think I might do is I'm going to try and go live twice a week. I know everybody says like subscribers and all that doesn't matter, but let's be real, until you get monetized, it sort of does. And though I'm not close close to being to 1,000 subscribers, I just want to make sure that when I do hit it, that my watch hours are not like lagging really far behind. So I am going to try and go live twice a week, and I am going to go live in the morning. Thursday I had a good that day I did it on a Thursday morning. I had a really good turnout. So I might try again on Thursday, but I am going to go live one morning for the hopes of especially people over in Europe and whatnot being able to join. So you don't have to join both live streams. I will probably repeat some of, like the monologue I did and stuff. Some of that will be a duplication, but that way it gives people options. So yes, Daniel, I will do morning lives if that's easier for you. There's always a project when you have an RV. Ask my husband. So, Catherine, you guys have an RV. Do you travel the country a lot? My family, I get car sick. I get motion sick really easily anytime we go on long drives. But I have recently said, and I think I've shared with most people on here, that my daughter has been living the van life for the last 4+ years. And, so I've learned a lot about it. And I was telling my husband, I said, I think once he retires and we no longer have pets, and I'm not rushing that, just once we no longer have pets, I wouldn't mind getting, whether it's a van or an RV, and maybe just traveling the country. There's so much of this country that I have not seen. And my daughter is constantly sending me, different pictures because she does a lot of hiking. She's in the national parks all the time. And I just feel so uneducated when it comes to that just all that this country has to offer. There's just so many beautiful things about it. So I'm curious, do you just go on, a vacation here or there, or do you guys actually go out in the RV and travel for long stretches of time? That is no lie. For some reason, moms can make it taste so much better. Or dads. Agreed. Yes, it doesn't matter what it is. But that also goes true, my husband does a lot of the cooking in our house. And again, what's funny is my husband did not cook at all. I mean, the most he ever cooked was opening a can of soup. And I am not exaggerating. His mom was a diehard Italian. She did all the cooking. She waited on my father-in-law. My father-in-law knew how to do nothing. So her boys also knew how to do nothing when it came to that type of stuff. They could build a rocket ship. They're brilliant that way. But as far as any type of home chores or cooking or anything like that. But when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, I literally could not look at food. And, we had 2 other children that had to eat. My husband had to eat. So he figured it out. And he's an engineer, so he's really good at, reading a recipe. He can follow any instructions and put anything together. But he absolutely loves it. Just, like my son, he absolutely loves it. So he does a lot of the cooking because he chooses to. So, and I'm very appreciative of that. But yes, I agree. Mom and dad's. But what I was going to say is even when somebody else is cooking it for you versus you cooking it for yourself, there's something about it that makes it taste that much better. Shazam is a free app for download, and after you do it, you point it to any music and it identifies the artist and the title and saves it to your library. Oh, it saves it to your library. Okay. Oh, I didn't know. Wow. Wow, that's really, there's so many songs that I hear. I'll have to look into that. that I'm always trying to Google like a line from it or something. Especially I listen to Pandora a lot, and while I'm out running, so I can't always stop and look at the name of a song. But I guess I'd have to stop and have the app listen to it. But I'll have to look into that. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Banks RV toilet video. Go watch after. I will. I will. Yes, I did not see that one. If which son turns 25? What if you have 4 sons? Well, have they turned 25 yet, Scott? So I'm telling you, they just, I don't know. There's just something about 25 that they just step into, I guess, manhood. I don't know how else to explain it. They take responsibility. They're accountable for things. They're motivated. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying my son wasn't. He was a really good kid, but just different, just really different. So mature. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Is he just really matured, and definitely proud of him. So oh, you dropped the video today. Okay, now I don't feel so bad. Okay. A lot of people have seen it, and I greatly appreciate it. I must say it's a must. Oh, maybe we should watch it now. How long is it? Should I pull it up? What time is it? No. Maybe we should watch it on this live. Everybody poops. True statement. True statement. So, what did my son say the other day? We're going to go down this rabbit hole, but my youngest daughter, when my granddaughter was sick, she got sick here, so I was taking care of her. And my youngest daughter's like, I don't know if I could ever change a diaper when I have kids, this, that, the other thing. And my son's like, no, you just got to start reframing how you think of poop. He says, if you think it's funny, he says, you can get through any diaper change. It's not a big deal. He says, I laugh more than anything. So anyways, the word poop reminded me of him saying that the other day. That's how I feel about everybody else. I try to say something, but they can say it so much better than what I was thinking. Yeah, it's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes people can just hear something, read something, and they can just eloquently keep it as simple as possible. And simple sometimes is the best way to communicate versus anything else, you know? I like how you word things. What is happening to my box here? Here. Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. It's 1:40 p.m. on Monday. Oh, okay, Catherine. You're going to make me do the math here. So 16 hours? So are you 16 hours ahead of us? I don't know if I did the math right on that, but that's what it sounds like. Or yeah, because it's Monday, today's Sunday. All right, so you're 16 hours ahead of us. All right, so on Rob's live streams, okay, so 1 in the morning. So that means it's 5 o'clock in the morning when you're in Rob's live streams? Wow. Let me know if I have that right. I don't know why my box seemed to have shrunk. I don't know what I did. Okay, I switched to iced coffee in the summer too. I make all my coffee myself, and that way you can control the sugar. Yes, my big thing is the ice. They just fill their iced coffee cups with so much ice, very little coffee, and especially in the warm weather, it melts before you get to the car, and then it just tastes awful. And coffee just continues. My goodness, it's like $8 for a cup of coffee around here. It's crazy, just crazy. Um, so what I like to do is just make a pot of coffee and then just pour it into my canister, put it in the fridge, and that way I can, if it needs to get watered down a little bit with ice, I can do that, but that way it retains its flavor. So I'm with you, CL. You're in Minnesota, 2 hours from Lake Superior. So that must be why you get so much snow. Or maybe Minnesota just gets a lot of snow, but I know being near the Great Lakes gets a lot of snow. You are in the future. You know, now that you say that, I think I've heard Rob say that before. So yes. But do I have, is it 16 hours? Do I have that right? Yes, go live to know, get to know your people. I was extremely afraid of going live at first, but now I love it. And there's so many people that support it, and I agree, Mike. Yeah, I admit I was nervous the first couple of times, and I think the first couple of lives I had, nobody showed up. But you know, I did what Rob suggested, just have something prepared, and that's what I did, just like it was a regular video. And you know, I would probably one of, you know, I don't know if it was the first or second one, but one of them was over after 20 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. And that's it. But yeah, now I'll be honest, I like participating in other people's lives more than I do doing my own, because I get to socialize and whatnot with everybody. I like that more. But yeah, this is okay too, and I appreciate everybody who joined. So you'll definitely have to share my last video with your daughter. I believe she will get it. Oh, she probably will, because I've heard some stories of hers that she has. So that's why I say, you know, it's better than running across a parking lot. A lot of times, she also has a Planet Fitness membership. So though she has a shower and everything, I think she prefers to like shower at a Planet Fitness. She also belongs to some mountain climbing gym or something that I guess is also all over the country. So she'd rather shower at one of those locations. And a lot of the Planet Fitnesses are open 24/7. So a lot of times, if she's not out camping somewhere on the BLM land, she's in a parking lot so that she can be near a bathroom. So yes, she has stories. So I'll share it with her. We've traveled a little, but my husband only retired. Oh, wow. 10 days ago. So the longest we've done is 3 weeks in the South Island of New Zealand. I think it was during Rob's Christmas gathering the other day when you were talking, Catherine. I actually, and I believe, and I don't remember her name, but YouTube over 40, Karen, is it? I think. I was looking up the different, the South Islands, and is it the North Island? Anyways, I was just looking up pictures, and my goodness, is that gorgeous. You know, I just think other parts of the world are amazing, and especially where I have not been to a lot of places. The only place I've ever, you know, I went to France for work, so I didn't get a whole lot of sightseeing there, but I at least got out to Paris one day, and I spent a week in Italy only because my daughter studied abroad. So we went for 10 days. But other than that, I've been to Caribbean islands and stuff, but I don't necessarily count those because I typically don't leave the beach. But I am fascinated, just other parts of the world, other cultures, other just traditions and whatnot. So anyways, piece of useless information that I looked up. I was looking up the pictures of New Zealand the other day. What kind of engineer? He is a mechanical engineer. And my daughter is studying, which she graduates in May, is biomedical engineering. So 2 engineers in the family. And then her boyfriend is a civil engineer. So lots of engineers. And my father-in-law was also an engineer. He was also a mechanical engineer, and he worked for GE his entire career. I don't know. He retired when he was 65, and he literally got the job out of college. So however many years that is, 40 something years. My friend Trish, I can't remember her channel, but she is also from New Zealand. And it sounds like over there, you guys. Oh my goodness, Scott, I don't know what I did. Oh, there we go. I did something to my comments. Okay, now I can read them. My friend Trish, and I can't remember her channel, but she is also from New Zealand, and it sounds like over there, your guys' rules for camping is a lot more strict. It sounds like there's no tent camping. Yeah, I'd be interested in that because even Mike from East Coast to West Coast, like, and you probably know all of this, but all the BLM land over there, like my daughter can literally pull off the side of the road if she wanted, and she could camp overnight in her van. You can't do that over here in the New England area. I'm not even sure you can do it along the whole East Coast. So even parts of this country are more strict than like the western half of the country. My husband's an engineer too, electrical. He's great at following instructions and figuring things out. He can fix or make anything, right? Yeah, I think it takes a certain person to be an engineer because it's not just something you learn, right? I mean, he could read a book on how to build a house, a rocket ship, whatever it is, and he would build it flawlessly. So, but then sometimes I feel like he has no room left for common sense. Sometimes. Don't tell him I said that, but sometimes. So, I'm assuming tent camping is tent. I think he meant to write tent. Or maybe not. Maybe not. There's no camping in non-designated areas anymore. Back in the 90s, you could stop anywhere. Yeah, things always seem to get more strict. Never for the right reasons. Yes, that's what I was trying to say, Catherine. My time now is almost 8 o'clock at night, 7:58 p.m. It's 7 a.m. for Rob's streams now. It's summer here, but in our winter, it's either 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., depending on the daylight savings time changes. Oh, that's right, because Rob's an hour ahead of us. That's right. That's right. But mostly 5 a.m. throughout winter. So you're an early morning person too, Catherine? Or do you just get up early for Rob's streams on Tuesdays? You have to make the ice cubes themselves out of coffee too. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I might have to do that. Yes, Trish was telling me no tent camping or campers like mine. They have to have a fixed toilet. Really? Wow. The coffee ice cubes, yes, it is a great idea. Oh, you make it too, CL. I have a Star Wars themed ice cube tray for fun. Oh, that is fun. So you're a Star Wars fan? That's fun to know. Yeah, they have to have a fixed toilet. If you're freedom camping, you can camp in a commercial campground and anything. If you're freedom camping, I don't know what that is. Is freedom camping? You can camp in a commercial campground in anything. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what freedom camping is. We have stunning scenery. There are so many wonderful countries. I've been watching Drew Binsky on YouTube. He does amazing videos in different countries, more than off the beaten track. I'm just going to write that down. Oh, and it's 8 o'clock, so I don't want to keep folks, but I do want to read. I didn't get through all the comments, though. Hey, Rob. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to pop in. I grew up on sci-fi and fantasy. That's not a bad thing. All right, so let me just read the entry for December 28 before everybody goes. Sorry, I need a little bit of light. So, and this is from, for the folks who haven't joined before, this is from the book called Thoughtuary. A really good friend of mine wrote this book, and it's basically, he wrote an entry for every day during the pandemic, and then he made a book out of it. So, and on the front is actually, he used to go out on, he lives on a large pond, and he would actually take his kayak out every morning, and that's where he'd do most of his writing. So that's his kayak on the front. Okay, so it will take everything you have. When it comes to transformation, it's about the smolder and not the burn. It's about showing up for yourself first, accepting who you are at your core and celebrating it without exception and unbounded by rules. There will be no comparisons to normal and no holds barred. This is serious and must not be taken lightly. This will also be a practice, one that will take you deep into your past and even your soul, not searching for what needs to be fixed, but for what needs to be nurtured, cared for, and grown. It's about a commitment to physical, mental, and emotional health, to friendships based on mutual interest and passion, and honoring those relationships the best you can. It will take deconstruction and a commitment to slow down, be present, and step into the person you've been constructing your entire life. But above all, it will be worth it, because deep down, you know it's time. And ask yourself this: am I ready to do the work required to look critically at deconstruct and rebuild myself in a way that is truest to who I am at the very core? If not, why? Oh, that kind of, I never read these before I read them with you folks. So kind of aligns with what my opening monologue was. But folks, I won't keep you. I know it's Sunday night, and go enjoy your families. Just enjoy the rest of your night. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining. And I hope you got something out of this. Remember to, choose a word, protect your mornings, and what was the last thing? Oh, and what can you let go of in 2025 that's no longer serving you, and not carrying it into 2026. So thanks, folks. Have a great night.